Good morning, racing fans. Welcome back to the channel, proudly sponsored by betting.co.uk. So we're just back with another episode for you, and we thought we'd just do a quick review of some of the racing that we've actually had over the Christmas period. A lot has happened over the festive period, and of course that may now alter a few targets for the selections as well. So we thought we'd just go through some of the races, just have a brief outline to how we saw the race, what we thought of the performances, and then see if that's got any effect on the Cheltenham targets as well. But before we go on to the selections, James, Happy New Year, mate. How was your Christmas and how are you doing?
Happy New Year to everybody, Joe. Yeah, very good Christmas. Not bad, too bad punting. 26 was crap. 27, 28 were good. 29 was crap. So, too good, too bad. So, look, onwards and upwards, and racing's shit this weekend. Maybe no, it's good tomorrow at the 8th. But, yeah, roll on the trials day in the Dublin Racing Festival now.
It is, isn't it? I know we've got the Lawlers tomorrow, but it's pretty much all we've got. So yeah, roll on Trials Day. Nice to see you had a couple of good days there. James and Bad Boy, how are you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, hi mate, hi Jay, hi Joe, happy New Year. Yeah, sound pretty good Christmas. Lost overall, but had a couple of good days towards the end, which saved the day. But yeah, really good, thanks.
You're allowed to lose over Christmas because we have a few drinks flowing at the same time. So you're allowed to take a few wild punts at the same time. Good. Well, nice to have you back, boys. And thanks to everyone that's tuning in. If you're able to click subscribe, that does help us out a great deal. And we will go straight on to the racing. So we're going to start with Boxing Day, where we, of course, had some really good action. The highlight was the King George, but before that, we had the Cato Star Novices Chase, where Ile Francais managed to beat Hermes Hélène in what just seemed to be an absolute electric performance. It really was a good one there. Scotty, what did you make of him? I mean, it's a shame he's probably not going to be coming to Cheltenham, but great to see nonetheless, wasn't it?
Yeah, wow. I think in our preview, I was very dismissive of not of his chances, but of making him a backable prospect. But as soon as he jumped the first couple of fences, I thought this is all over. I've done my money on Giovinco, and I was happy to be proved wrong because next year it's get stuck in for the King George. And judging on this year's race, depending on what comes out of the novices this year, he's very much the one to beat. And I think 9-4 now, if everything goes to plan and he stays fit and healthy, I'd be taking that even now. Just have a few quid on, just to have something in the book for Christmas next year. But yeah, he was brilliant to watch. He was very quick at his fences. He didn't take long to get to the other side, which is what you want around Kempton. It's around any course, it's what you want, isn't it? But yeah, it's a shame we won't see him at Cheltenham, but it's probably a good thing that we won't see him because a lot of anti-post punters will be trying to look at dockets on the likes of Corbett's Cross, Grange Clare, West, all those horses, stay away face, so they'll be happy. But no, brilliant. And Giovinco, I don't know what happened to him. It just screams to me that they rid him out the back there just to see what they could do for later on in the season, and perhaps something like the Ultima. Maybe they'll chuck Korak Rambler in there to get the weights down, or he might go to Gold Cup. But yeah, Giovinco, I'd be looking to see where he goes next. But Hermes Allen, I'd still be happy with him. I know he was beaten 11 lengths, but I was always adamant he'd be a Turner's horse and not a Brown Advisory
Yeah.
horse. And yeah, I'm on him at 25s for the Turners. So I think he ran a good race and he tried to do something similar, I thought, that he did at Newbury. And that was kind of hunt away, jump pretty solid, and try and go up and make that move. But he just couldn't live with Ile Francais. So yeah, he's probably only got Gaelic Warrior to beat in the Turners as his main rival. And I wouldn't be too worried if you're on at decent prices. But no, as far as Ile Francais goes, absolutely fantastic. And I will be definitely backing him for the King George next year.
Yeah, I think we both had a change of heart there because I was with you as well. I couldn't have him at all before the race. I just felt so stupid watching him jump around Kempton. I knew halfway, I was like, oh God, we've got
Exactly that. That was the same. Exactly.
got a pretty good one on our hands. And a 9-4 tip for the King George coming up at the end of the year as well.
There we
So
go.
Jamie, what did you think of LA Francais? He looks some sort of weapon, doesn't he?
He's a weapon, right, John? You recorded an RPR of 168 compared to an RPR of Gaelic Warrior of 160. Now, Gaelic Warrior to me with 160 RPR didn't like he was out of fucking, what, first, second gear. So I wouldn't be getting carried away. He jumped well, but what did he beat? Do you know what I mean? Giovinco is not a 3 miler anyway, by the way. He's like, fair enough, they'll run him in the ultimate to get the weight down off Park Rambler, but I think Giovinco, she said there is that he might be going Silly Isles or maybe to the handicap novice handicap on trials day, which shouldn't be there in the program anymore because there's no novice handicap final at the Cheltenham Festival.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
He should be in the two now. He should be in the plate, Giovinco. He's not a 3 miler, and he won't sit up the hill after 3 miles anyway. I've come to the thing that he just doesn't say 3 miles. I know they went fast the last day and he was out of his depth, but that's getting nagging to me that what did they France beat? No, fair play to Hermes
Yeah.
Allen. Stuck up with him for long enough, do you know what I mean? And I suppose it's the only danger really, all depending on the second string of who Willie Mullins brings to the Turners at the moment. But I wouldn't be getting carried away. It's very good. He's very good. There's no doubt he's very good. But I wouldn't be carried away. He still has to beat Gaelic Warrior and King George if Gaelic Warrior comes over next year for King George. Like he hasn't made a top class horse like Gaelic
Yeah.
Warrior. But I suppose you swing it around then, and if it's that good, well, a horse that I'm starting to really fancy now, even it hasn't even come over to the shores, that Talem will win the Stairs Hurdle now because it beaten 10 lengths. So it's up to you, but
Yeah.
wouldn't be hugely carried away, but because it has to meet Gaelic Warrior yet and it's King George, so I'm like 9 to 4 is ridiculous, not 12, not even what, 11 and a half months out. There's a lot of water on the bridge to come yet, but
Yeah. Sure.
yeah, look, there's no doubt it's a very good horse and will put other horses under pressure with the jumping. But I'd like to see it against Gaelic Warrior first before I make a judgment if it's an absolute superstar that people seem to think it is.
Yeah. I mean, look. Now that you've said it, sort of coming even to think about it. I mean, Hermes Allen obviously won prior to Kempton, but again, we don't really know how good even that form was. So, like you said, what did he beat? It's definitely a
But
fair assessment,
just
isn't
look
it?
back at the Ballymore last year. Look how far Gaelic Warrior was ahead of Hermes Allen.
Yeah, true. See that's another thing, isn't it? If you like, I guess because we didn't know what to expect on the day, it just looked so visually impressive. But
Yeah,
now,
look visually, but no, look, the time was good. The time guru loved it. The jumping was unbelievable. Now he did walk through one of the fences, all right, like, but look, that happens with very good jumpers. Sometimes they'll walk through one and they'll still get away with it, like, because he's a French type of jumper. The Frenchy kind of style, the way they jump, and they only clip the top bar with the French fella in the corner there, that these are. So, but look, yeah, look,
interesting, isn't it?
I don't blame them to go into the France because the money is insane compared to what it is in the UK. So, look, we won't see him to the King George next year. We'll wait till then, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Hopefully they got a good one to come over. It'd be brilliant if we can get him to the King George obviously this year as well. It'll certainly give us some excitement towards Christmas. Okay, so we're going to have a look then at the Ladbrokes Christmas Hurdle, of course, Constitution Hill. I mean, we're just getting used to these sort of performances now. James, I'm actually going to stick with you for this one. What did you make of him? I mean, not too much to go into regarding the detail, but he's doing what we expected. He's probably going to be unbeatable again at the Cheltenham Festival. What did you make of the performance, I guess?
It's just too good, John. It's just unlucky he's in the near that. Well, I suppose Statement's unlucky he's in the near the Constitution Hill this year
Yeah.
because you'd probably get more horses try to beat Statement than Constitution Hill. He's unbeatable. There's no one going to beat him.
Simple,
He's just
straightforward.
straight. He just clips the top bar. Now, look, there's always a small nagging doubt like he did in the last hurdle in the champion hurdle. He might clip it too well.
Don't say it.
But
Don't say it.
nah,
Don't say it.
I doubt very
I,
much. He's too good.
I,
He's
I
just too
did.
good. And it's scary that he's actually only run 8 times.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean,
Very scary.
we said
We
before,
haven't
didn't we?
seen. We possibly haven't seen. Well, I suppose I still think his best performance ever will always be the Supreme by a country mile because they went some great clip that day and it was just unbelievable. Like, and if he repeats that, like he might, but there's probably no point because it doesn't matter. He's just too better. Like, I'd like to see him in a race, but like you probably won't see that for another 2 or 3 years.
But this is the thing. There's nothing there that can even live with him, is there? But
No.
I did hear, and it made me laugh that Vanessa Royal was the first person. I was waiting when we were going to hear someone say he's that fast. His jumping is he gonna fall at some point? But I don't really want to talk about it. But I did hear her sort of suggest that at some point his speed actually may be his downfall, which it does make sense because he is just that good. But surely, hopefully as well, that he's smart enough that it doesn't matter anyway. Scotty, what did you think?
Yeah, brilliant, wasn't he? Did exactly what we expected. Can't say any more than that.
Yeah.
I was literally going to echo what Jamie said. State Man is probably the most unluckiest horse in the last 25 years to bump into something at the same time like Constitution Hill, because he'd win 2 or 3 champion hurdles, I think. I'm actually looking here right now at the champion hurdle market. What the hell's going to turn up?
What did you think? What did you think of your Rubo, by the way? You obviously love this horse.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
outside of
without
Constitution.
sounding clever, I said it on Dave's preview with Jamie. I said Rubo will be there 2 out making the running, and it'll be all over.
Yeah.
And exactly that. Yeah, I was happy enough with him. I'd still like to see him go to Punchestown. I think going right-handed is probably his trip. He's proved that around Wincanton. He could probably pick up prize money there. Will he go to Cheltenham? Probably not. I think he might get saved for that race, or possibly even a tilt at Aintree, maybe over 2.5. They might try him. I don't know. But looking at the champion hurdle market, this could be ridiculous, as in what could turn up this year. Constitution Hill and State Man. And then after that, you've got Impere Pass. There's rumours about him going up to 3 miles for these stayers. Bob Ollinger's there next in the betting. Then you've got the likes of Lottie Mouth, Marine Nationale, Echoes and Rain, Vauban, who's never going to run over hurdles again. It's been rumoured. And then, so Not So Sleepy's going to run. So that's 3 runners. What else turns up? You could have something. This might sound absolutely bonkers, and you're all going to laugh, but I don't care. I'm going to say it. I'd chuck Vassal Vega in at 50s, 50 to 1, and give him a run over hurdles over 2 miles. I'd forget the chase campaign.
Oh, dear.
No, but in all seriousness, Constitution Hill is just going to rock up. State Man's going to finish second. And I actually said the other day to someone, request a bet with whoever for the forecast now, Constitution Hill to beat State Man. And I actually think someone got quite an even money. And it sounds ridiculous.
Wow.
I'd have a little 20 quid on that just to say it's there. But
it's like you said, though, isn't it? You look through the field, there's not really anything else that's even going to be able to live with Constitution Hill, let alone State Man, surely. So, I mean, like you said, I mean,
you could get 3 or 4 runners in this race. That's literally that. And you might even get one of the mares chucked in, like You Wear It Well. They might take a chance and try and nick some prize money.
It's such a shame, isn't it? Like, we live in a time we've got possibly we have got a superstar in our hands, and there's just nothing to go up against him. It really is a shame. I mean, of course, I love Marine National. I'm great, really glad to see him go over fences, but it would have been nice at the same time to see these two lock horns this season, really find out who's the best horse. But anyway, we shouldn't knock him. A beautiful horse, really good for our sport, and I hope that he has an unbeaten season once again. So, moving on to the King George, of course, we had Hewick win from a mile back. He pretty much touched 999 to 1 before they even got in running. Ridiculous stuff. He beat Brave Man's Game into second and Allaho into third. Jamie, what did you make of the performance of Hewick? And of course, the question everyone wants to know, was Shishkin going to win the King George?
Yeah, he was. I'm not talking through my pocket. It cost me 4 figures. I'm not happy. But sure enough, you had to get over it fairly lively because there was plenty of racing left in the day. Yeah, Shishkin would have won. And they would have won by 2 or 3 lengths to Hewick. He would have been second. Bravement Game would probably been third, and Idaho would have been fourth. We're kind of a race that people saying Frodan messed up the race. Like, and very respectable pundits have after saying this. I mean, like, why are you in the job, in my opinion, for doing that? Like, Frodan's in the race for a reason. They put him in the race. Like, she's the front runner. Brian Eagles was in front. It's one of King George off the front. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't understand the reason why people are saying it. Paul Townend, to me, give Idaho an awful ride and a desperate ride. Like, getting him to get to trip. Like, he's won a Punchestown Gold Cup over 3 miles and a bit.
It seemed like they were
There's no
unsure,
question he
didn't it?
stays on a flat track over 3 miles. Do you know what I mean? Brave Man's Game doesn't look the same horse. No, he was there, but he just doesn't have that finishing kick, Joe. I always said it. He just doesn't have that finishing kick. The question now, he might be going back for Ryanair. I can't eat myself. I think he's going to run in the Gold Cup and he'll just finish, third or fourth or something like that. And who cares after that? He's done, in my opinion. Hewick was just there because, like, the jockey, Gavin Sheehan, said that it wouldn't have pulled it up if it was a handicap, but it was a King George. And he said, look, we'll stick at it. But Shishkin was very unlucky. I think if you came more to him, he was going to pull out more. In context of the Gold Cup, I suppose he's rightfully third favourite now for the Gold Cup. He'll be there, but I think he's better going right-handed. And I wouldn't be touching him for a Gold Cup. To be honest, no, he's a decent price. You want to back him each way if you think he's going to finish third. You get the Gold Cup, so you can Gallop in the Champ and fast or slow, but Gallop in the Champ is going to win the Gold Cup. But look, you might not see him again. He could have actually ruined the inside of his foot there, the leg there after he clipped the heel at the back of it. So, but he'd have won hands down. And to say he wouldn't have won, you know nothing about racing.
Yeah, I agree, James. I think he was going to win 2-3 lengths, just like you said, and then have Hewitt storm up, and we'd all be just telling Shishkin to hold on. But that would be purely out of excitement. On the same, I think Shishkin would have won the King George. I think he was travelling well enough. Nico seemed happy with the tactic. He's got no reason to say otherwise, really. Scotty, what did you make of the King George for start? Did you back Hewitt, or did you get your fingers burnt in this one?
No, it's one of the only races I won on Boxing Day, but it could have been a lot better. I was with you guys. I actually came round to Shishkin in the end. I backed him. I actually backed him each way. I think I got 4s in the morning, but I had a saver on Hewitt. But I'm not bothered about that. I just wanted to see Shishkin win. And again, I said exactly how the race would unfold. I thought if Shishkin came to that last and jumped it and got over it, he would have won, and he would have won, I think. But again, I think I'm with Jaime. I think Allaho. I watched back the Punchestown Gold Cup when he beat that field over 3 miles, but basically the same kind of trip, going right-handed, flat track. I think just the legs are not like they used to be. Again, I said it in our Christmas preview. I think it was a year too late for Allaho. I think that run at Clonmel was very deceiving. And when he won the Clonmel Oil Chase, I think it was it flattered him a bit, the manner of that victory. And I would be keen to take him on for the Ryanair. Stage Star's obviously flopped since, albeit carrying top weight. I wouldn't be too worried about Stage Star. I'd definitely think it'd be right come March. And ITV did that new thing, didn't they, where they listened into the jockey and Mr. Nichols with the owners beforehand.
Brilliant.
And as soon as I heard that, and I'd back Stage Star on the day as a saver against Shake 'em Up Harry, I thought money's gone, goodbye. But yeah, no. In regards to Hewitt, can't believe where he came from. We were watching it in town, and I was like, come on, Shishkin, and he fell. And then all of a sudden, I had my head in my hands, and this big green cloud appeared from nowhere. I couldn't believe it. I was just like he said, 550 he touched at one point, I saw. But it's just a testament to the horse. It shows how good he is as a stayer. For a horse to win races like he's won, like a Galway Plate and an American National, he's obviously won this race. He won the race at Sandown, which was a good staying race. That's right-handed again. Cheltenham, I think Shark Hanlon said last year, he said he thinks he would have finished second in that Gold Cup. And obviously with Galopin Des Champs bouncing back like he did, who will win the Gold Cup again. It probably just goes to show that it's probably the 2 best stayers in Ireland, along with Fast or Slow at this moment in time. And anything in England can touch them. I don't think they can. I think I'd still give Jerry an each-way chance in the Gold Cup, but the form of his RSA has worked out awful. The only horse that's really done anything since is I Am Maximus, who's won the Irish National and won the Drinmore. But I wouldn't be taking him literally. The likes of Bron been well smashed since. The Royal Whackers letting the form down a couple of times. And obviously Complete Unknown, God bless him. I don't think he's with us anymore, but he ran one poor race in the Hennessy. I don't think he was that good. But no. Shishkin, I can't back 10-year-olds for the Gold Cup. It's one of my rules, never back a 10-year-old to win any Grade 1 anywhere, unless it's like literally a god-awful race. And looking at the Gold Cup market, I'd be having an each-way play on the day, depending on the ground. If it came up heavy or quite a lot of rain, I'd be backing the likes of even Royal Pagaille each way. I'd even give Nassalam a big run if he went there with really heavy ground. I think he's obviously improving after that Welsh national win. But yeah, I think it's Galopin Des Champs in that market now after watching that King George. And Brave Man's Game, I don't know where he goes next. I think he's kind of reached his limitations the last couple of seasons, and that's it for me. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I pretty much echo what you said there, Scotty, as well. I suppose as well with the likes of Brave Man's Game, when we're talking about his targets, he's okay. He's got some sort of turn of foot, but he's more of a one pace sort of sloggy boat, isn't he? So it's hard to see how he tactically wins a Gold Cup. But it's also hard to tactically see how he would win a Ryanair, perhaps without going on front. What I will say, big shout out to Gavin Sheen. He's having a great time at the moment. Of course, he won the King George. He won on Fugitive. He won the Coral Gold Cup on That's All Right Gino as well. He's having a right time of it this season. So hopefully that continues there for Gavin Sheehan as well. Moving on to the Racing Post Novices Chase. Okay, we were very disappointed by the run of Facile Vega, of course. I want Marine National to turn out to be the best one, which he will. He is. However, it would have been nice to see him go and win this race nicely to set up a nice battle in the Arkle. Not necessarily sure we're going to see that now, but found a 51 quite well, Scotty. What did you make of the performance?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. You just got to be disappointed with Facile Vega if you're a fan of his. I think there's too many excuses now. Whether Leopardstown is his track, I don't know. I know he won the bumper there in pretty impressive style, and I don't know where they go next with him. Will he go to the Arkle or will he step up and go for the Turners? I don't know. Would you be wanting to take on Marine National at the DRF? No, I wouldn't be wanting to go anywhere near him. I just think the form of that race is absolutely worthless. My mate Mozzie gets him within a length and a half. I know he won that race in October at Cheltenham, but I wouldn't take that with a pinch of salt. Found the 50 was well beat in the Drinmore. I Am Maximus didn't really do anything in the Gold Cup, in the Savills since then. And Sharjah, bless him, he ran an okay race. He ran better than a lot of people gave him credit for, but massively disappointed with Facile Vega. I would be willing to give him one final chance, but I just don't think he's as good as people make out. I think he's been flattered since his bumper days. He was well beaten in that novice hurdle, that grade 1 by Ilate Toms, ran okay in the Supreme. Marine National probably could have won that race by as far as he wanted, but very disappointed. And the Arkle market for me, it's a penalty kick. If Marine jumps, he will win. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think we can establish now that they're two very different horses, and that one is clearly better than the other. That's for sure. Would you give Founder 50 any sort of chance in the Arkle, Scotty? Just before I move on to James.
No, not in a win perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a win perspective. I actually would like to see him go back up to 2.5 over good ground over that Turner's course and distance. I think that would probably be more his thing. And there's only one horse that could potentially give Marine National a race if he turns up, and that's Blood Destiny.
Yeah,
I don't know whether Willie will probably step Facile up to 2.5 and maybe chuck Blood Destiny from the front to try and test Marine's jumping. I was really impressed with Blood Destiny. I think 11-1 I'm looking at here. He'd definitely be an each way play. If he went, I'd back him each way. I've already backed Marine in a single, so that would be my biggest danger to him.
Yeah, interesting. I think he will go there as well, to be fair. Jamie, what did you think of Founder 50, and what did you think of course Facile Vega at the same time?
I saw a quote there from whoever, Patrick Mullins or Willie, saying that he likes Leopardstown. Yeah, he likes Leopardstown when it's an absolute mud bath.
Agreed.
I was there at the Dublin Race Festival last year, and there was silence, absolute silence in the stand when I top on, and Facile Vega blew out, but the ground was good. And I said to you in the preview, or whoever preview I was with, David's preview was it, and we did, and I said, no, I was going to take him on because he won't go on that ground. And look, to be honest with you, not cribbing jockeys or anything, like, there's a reason why Patrick Mullins is still an amateur. I mean, like, come on, like, what was he doing? Like, he was in 1 minute, he was out the side the other minute. Like, was he looking for where the softest ground was? Normally when you're outside the raid, you're looking for the better ground. I mean, like, what was he doing? And like, he was making a fool out of the horse, and then he's making a fool out of the punter too. Like, I don't know, I just don't understand. But anyway, they think, a fast run 2 miles is for Founder 15. Might be, he'd pick up the pieces, might finish second or third maybe in an arc, but he's not going to win it. It's the thing with my mate Mozzie being so close. My mate Mozzie is like rated 146, I think, over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, or did he get that from the UK run maybe? Like, if he gets 146 in the Grand Annual, then they put a claim on him off a fast pace and a tight track like the old track, he'd have a chance, all right. For win purposes, no. For each way purposes, yeah. Sharjah reached the ceiling now. That's it. That's the end of Sharjah. But Facile Vega, I think he'll still run in the Arkle because the softer ground will probably come on the first day. They'll work the shit out of the track. To be honest with you, can I see him? Unless the only way he beats Marine National if it turns up in the description heavy on the first day of the Cheltenham Festival. After that, he's absolutely no chance to beating Marine National. The only horse that can beat Marine National is Gaelic Warrior if he switches back to 2 miles, which won't happen because of the old track doesn't suit him. It shouldn't suit him because it keeps turning and it's tight and it shouldn't. But I would be worried, Joe, if Gaelic Warrior ran against Marine National because I think if Gaelic Warrior ran in an Arkle, Marine National got to catch him.
Wow,
That's just my opinion, and I'll stick by it. But he probably not going to run in, so there's no point even saying it. So
yeah.
at the moment, if you're going on Gaelic Warrior and Returners, yeah, the only horse that would probably give him a race is probably Blood Destiny, because he's going to go out in front and catch me if you can, kind of a thing. And that Marine, they're going to say to Marine, can you catch me? The only thing about Blood Destiny, he loses his weight allowance for age. When it comes to March, it's gone. Off level weights against Marine National, can you see him beating over hurdles? No, he'll be beaten by 20 lengths. So, do you know what I mean? So, look, at the moment, with no Gaelic Warrior, Marine National, there should be a penalty kick, shouldn't he, for the Arkle?
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't see how Marine gets beat. He's too fast. He's only one of these that we've seen with a turn of foot, and he only had to have a clip down the neck in conditions he didn't like without
Yeah,
Michael
the other
Spillane.
thing is that, and people will forget that the Arkle is like a furlong and a bit shorter
Yes.
than the last day at Leopardstown. And he did all his best work up to the last fence, and he
And
still went away with the extra furlong. So that's something to keep in mind.
Can I
So
just chuck a point in that race actually in Fastol Vegas defence? I don't know if it was the first or second fence when they jumped. He got severely impeded and then he got bumped into and he got taken wide on the track. I just don't know whether that just scared the life out of him and he maybe just had a bit of a think about it on the way around.
when they have,
I understand what you're saying, but he's a big brute of a horse compared to the rest of them, Scott, and he's an experienced horse. Get over it and get on with it.
yeah,
But
that's true.
the jockey to me, this is shocking. I
Well,
mean, for a grade one,
I do wonder sometimes with these horses, if they do make a bad mistake early on, how much does that affect them then when they go sort of through the race? But like you said there, Jamie's a big sort of horse, so you'd hope it wouldn't do too much to ruin his chances. But similarly to you there, James, disappointed with Patrick Mullins on the Facile Vega. And didn't he rode Gaelic as well, didn't he? The other day? Yeah, he did.
now he was good on Gaelic Warrior, but obviously that's a bit controversial. Like in
It
Limerick,
is. It is.
very.
I still thought he was very careful in that race, considering he tends to dominate usually from the front. It just seems.
But like Ruby made a great point. Like he said, turn around the bend, right? At Limerick, look, the rail comes out and there's no rail towards the
Yeah,
second last.
yeah,
He came out and gave him the room. And exactly what I say, what you own the place or something.
that's the
Do you know
thing.
what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're going down that line, he shouldn't have come off the rail. So what's his argument with Danny? Danny, what was Danny doing wrong? There was plenty of a gap there. The horse wasn't good enough to go past him.
Yeah,
Exactly
yeah,
that.
sure,
It's the
sure.
same classic situation as
I'm
if the
glad you
horse
say
was good
that.
enough, there's no excuses. But they obviously
Yeah,
knew he wasn't quick enough. The same as Stormy Island when the gap opened for Honeysuckle. Honeysuckle
yeah.
had the gears to go through, whereas Elite Tomps doesn't. And I think that's what they were worried about.
But
Because
what Patrick Mullins was worried about, because what happened to Punchestown, he dived to the right, where this time he didn't. Do you know what I mean? It was a slight jink to the right, but it wasn't as he jumped as straight as a Gaelic warrior can jump straight.
he's so much straighter now. This is the thing. And
He's so much straighter.
If I owned Elite Tom, I would be fuming. When you get a gap up that inside, even though
Yeah.
again there wasn't a rail at that fence, I'd want him to attack through there and give him the best possible chance of that horse winning the race. So I don't care what
Exactly.
anyone says. I think it's wrong that it was handled the way it was. I think every horse should have their own chance of winning the race. And again, it's not exactly helping the cause, the case where people are saying that our sport's corrupt, is it? You know, if you got the
Yeah.
same stable saying, well, you should be going at the
But
inside
it's
because the horse jumps right. But
more
also, just before that, James, if Ilite Chomp went at that inside, Gaelic Warrior's not going to jump right into him. He'd have kept himself
no.
straight, or he would have went off left. It's such a piss poor argument. It really is.
If you were in that situation and you were the owners of Elite Tomps, they
Oh,
haven't got the firepower. They probably only got that horse in that yard with Willie. That's good enough
yes.
to compete at graded level. I don't know what agreement and what was said before the race. I'd be taking that horse out after that, and
You'd
he'd
be
be off to
fuming.
Gordon or Henry the Bromhead. I wouldn't mess around. That's how
Fuming.
ruthless I'd be with that kind of thing. That really annoyed me when I seen that.
Also, if he got closer to Gaelic Warrior, they may have started talking about him as a graded horse for potentially the Arkle or the Turners, whether he's going to win this race or not. Again, we'd have had a bit more of a deeper field. It would have gave us something to think about. It's ridiculous. I don't feel like we should have a sport where, regardless of the stable, they should be telling you what's right and what's wrong and who's going to win this race and not, because that just didn't sit right for me as a punter. Go on, James, give me
Complete
some.
arrogance, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's just
totally.
complete arrogance.
Yeah,
Nobody else but him. And that's the vibe I got. And I know Willie tried to play it down above in Leopardstown, and he did a good job at it.
yeah, he did. He did.
But I know that Danny Mullins has nothing he's not, and Danny's an opinionated man at the best of times.
Sure, sure.
But he's a quiet opinionated man. He's not a but when he gives his opinion, when he's asked, he gives it. But Patrick Mullins has gone way down in my estimation after
Yeah,
that.
terrible, terrible
He's
stuff.
terrible. It's absolutely terrible what he did, and
You,
he's
I
just
mean,
arrogant enough.
we ban jockeys for not trying and not giving their horses the best opportunity of
Yeah,
winning the race. But then what the hell
exactly.
was that all about?
He's after really opening that up now, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It'd be interesting to see if we hear any more about this in the future. But okay, we move on to the Tolworth hurdle then, lads. Of course, Django Bay was the winner for Hendo. Farron Glory was travelling like the most likely winner. Of course, we'd have had to see if he found off the bridle. We saw a little bit of that in the Royal Bond, so no real reason to say that he wouldn't have. Scotty, would Farron Glory have won the Tolworth, or it's not as straight, it's not as clear cut as everyone thinks just because he wasn't off the bridle at the time, is it? But I mean, I do still think he would have won the race. But how
Oh,
did you see it?
he would have absolutely hacked up.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
was all over it. I had a bet in the race. I backed two. I backed Jamie's horse, tell her the name, just because I never followed Jamie, but he was so convincing. And I just thought it's earlier in the day. I've got to have a go. And I backed Camsey Nasty Trey just after his haylock run, which I said I was going to. Django Bay, I didn't fancy whatsoever. He would have finished second, and I think he drifted. I think he opened something like 7-2, and he went off about 8, 9-1, which I couldn't believe.
Massive.
But no, honestly, Farron Glory, I thought watching that Royal Bond, it's the Royal Bond, his early season form. I know it was a good one last year, and I thought King of Kingsfield got that close. He went out and beat Mirazar West. Okay, Mirazar West was very keen in that race in the maiden, jumped a bit right and threw his chances away. But King of Kingsfield travelled all over him towards the end of that race, and he finished second to Farron Glory. And I've actually gone in and I've done something I don't usually do, and I've backed Farron Glory after that fall at Aintree for the Supreme. I just think it's a wide open race. There's question marks over a lot of the horses, and I think I took a bit of 19s or 20s yesterday on the exchanges. I think you can throw away your worst 3 or 4 or 5 quid, whatever you want to put on that. And you've got horses who have flopped in the races that we'll probably talk about later, like the likes of Daddy Longlegs, down memory lane. Of course, it was awful ground that day, so things could change the next time they run on a bit of better ground. But I think Farron Glory was going to be a really impressive winner. The only thing that was slightly, well, he obviously goes right-handed because he won the Royal Bond. He's obviously goes left-handed because it was Aintree. Maybe a flatter track will suit him better. I don't know. But I'd be taking the chance that he could run a big race in the Supreme. And I was really impressed with him.
It's starting to sort of look a little bit better than what we all first thought, I guess, on the day with the Royal Bond, isn't it? Like you said,
I'd be keen as well just to watch tomorrow, like you say, for working at that form. I backed out on Tobo that day, stepping up
of course.
in the Lawless race. I'd just be keen to see how he runs tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Jamie, how did you see the Tolworth, buddy? A little bit disappointed to start with, tell her the name.
Very disappointed.
Yeah.
I thought it would have reversed the form with the winner, to be honest with you, because it did everything wrong in Ascot, and an absolute hacked up at Huntingdon, and I don't know what happened. Maybe it wasn't its true running, or they've souped up the horse to be better than it is, but you know what I mean? I was very disappointed, Joe, in it, but look, what can you do? That's life. Favourite Fortune, who's second to Django Bay. Yeah, he's definitely an interest to me in the handicap at Cheltenham, because Alan King is an old master of rocking up horses and handicaps at Cheltenham, so I wouldn't discount him. Keep him in the tracker and Cup because he's had 3 runs, so he only needs 1 more. So I would put him in the tracker. Yeah. It looked like he was going to win, and then Django Bay just found more. Django Bay for Supreme? No, not for me. Farron Glory technically should be favourite for the Supreme at the moment. He should be favourite. An all-known form, he should be favourite. He's done more than Jericho de Repanet. He's won a Grade 1. King Kingsfield is there to beat Mirazar West. Now the only thing is about King Kingsfield, is he going to run the Supreme? He might, and he might like the fast pace of the Supreme. Don't discount him, but I think he'll end up in the county. Mirazar West, you'd have to give him another chance of what they said. The horse, as you said earlier, like fast out of Vega, the horse lit up and he needs maybe blinkers. So I wouldn't give up on Mirasol West at all at all. Would I be backing him now for a Supreme? Probably not. I suppose the forgotten horse going on to Supreme is the Dream to Share is to come out. You ought to know has to come out. I hear rumours about It's For Me. We don't know what's happening with him, especially after beating Caldwell Potter. But as I said to you at the start of the season, no matter where he goes, Ballymore Supreme, there's nothing going to beat Ballyburn. So full stop.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I think we all agree that Farron Glory is probably going to win the Tolworth. And like you said, suddenly he looks like he should be a lot shorter in the market, doesn't he? So, Scott, you've probably done the right thing in backing him there on Betfair on the exchanges as well. We'll go on to one of the next novice hurdles, the Paddy Power Future Champion Novices Chase. We did have a few disappointments with Daddy Longlegs and Down Memory Lane. But Coldwell Potter, a full brother to Mighty Potter, did really well to win in good style. I quite like this horse, Jamie. What do you think of him? I think he's got a bright future.
Oh, he has a bright future, Joe. Definitely is. He looks like a big stamp of a chaser,
Yeah.
doesn't he? Yeah, another, like I said earlier there with Facile Vega, you'd have to give him, like, the same at Fair and Glory, I suppose, because the ground was absolute muck at Fairyhouse for the Royal Bond. That if they turned up soft, and really soft, on the first day, like a day that the Classical Dream won the Supreme, like, and all the rest of them were mud splattered behind it, something like that, and Fair and Glory and Caldwell Potter would have right chances in the Supreme. But put it good to soft, I'd be worried about both of them. To be honest with you. I really would be worried about them. Sorry, the horse that finished second is interesting. Predators is gold. You absolutely walk through the second last, right? One he's made over 2.5, now back to 2 miles. He's definitely in my head for an Albert Bartlett anyway, maybe a Ballymore. They could have gone to the Ballymore, but I prefer him in an Albert Bartlett, and he wouldn't be out of place there, to be honest with you. That Albert Bartlett is wide up and could have a 20-something under field for the Albert Bartlett again this year. Down Memory Lane. The only thing about Down Memory Lane, Wild Quib, is that he beat absolute trees down Royal. Right? They still have Derek O'Connor, no disrespect, him, great jockey. But there was an interview on one of the, I think it was IrishRacing.com, one of them anyway. And he was even, I don't think Gordon is even entertaining bringing this horse to Cheltenham. And a lot of, it's just the vibe you're getting by his attitude. No, I don't think his attitude was fine, like, but it's just the fact that you see, maybe they're minding him. And I think that'll take a lot out of the horse. Danny Longlegs just needs a road. You need good in the description regardless. And I think you won't probably see Daddy Longlegs now till maybe the Ascot Stakes in Ascot in June in the handicap on the first day, 2.5 miler at Ascot. Back him if you want to back him. I'd be backing him anyway. But yeah, like it's the ground is my worry, Joe. Like if you see some of these horses going off a fast pace in the Supreme, would they be able to keep up? Very much doubt it. So I wouldn't be getting carried away with the form now.
I love what you're saying about Daddy Longlegs because I'm the same. He reminds me of Bring On the Night, who ran in the Supreme for the Donnelly's.
No, Daddy Longlegs could turn up in the Supreme.
He could do,
good ground,
but he's
good ground, and you might see a better horse. Like you might see him in the Dublin Racing Festival, and when we're there in a month's time,
he could
it could be better ground, and he could run, and he could be a totally different horse and forget about it at a decent price.
Of course. I actually like your first point though. Honestly, I on the same as you. I think we could end up seeing this lad at Royal Ascot or something. He just looks like a real dual purpose type of horse. So easy to get carried away with that win that we saw first time out. And it could just be that he's not quite up to this level. I did also see what you saw, Jamie, about Down Memory Lane. It was IrishRacing.com because I remember thinking the same thing. I was like, he doesn't seem too keen considering the visuals that Down Memory Lane put out that day. So yeah, I'd be the same, slightly cautious about him, but definitely like the performance of Coldwell Potter. Scotty, any alternative view from myself and Jane?
Not really. I just think Daddy Longlegs, excuse me, I don't think he's as good as people thought he was after his maiden win. Probably go to the Dublin Racing Festival. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go up in trip, to be honest, the next time. He just seemed to be taken off his feet, whether it was the ground, like Jamie said, probably does need better ground. Predators Gold, loved what I saw. Not the best of jumpers, probably just went that little bit too quick at some points in the race, just unsettled him. I'd love to see him go up in trip, whether he'll go to the Ballymore or potentially the Albert Bartlett. They've got the likes of Stella Story and I think Search for Glory, those kind of horses to to think about as well. But yeah, Coldwell Potter, I just touched on the last race at Aintree where I backed Farron Glory for the Supreme. I've actually backed Coldwell Potter for the Supreme just in case as well. Again, it's hard to get a proper reading on the race because everything was beaten so far or pulled up. Obviously, the ground was so bad that day. It's just not a massive race where you can take the form into the next race and be confident. Say if Coldwell Potter went off 7-4 favourite the next day, would you back him? I probably wouldn't. But then if he goes and wins next time and wins well again on a better ground, he's a real contender for the Supreme or the Ballymore. But no, I'm keen on Predator's Gold. To take anything out of the race going forward, he'd be the one that I'd be very keen to see where he goes. And if he goes, I'd like to see him race over the Nathaniel and Lacey trip. I think it's 2:06.5 at the Dublin Racing Festival. If he goes to that race, I'd definitely be backing him. But going forward, down memory lane, not sure what they're going to do with him next. Again, I agree with Jamie. He'd be absolute trees at Down Royal. Probably think he goes something like the Ballymore if he turn up at the festival, but I wouldn't be surprised if they skipped altogether. They've got the likes of Jericho the Rapine, Mirazar West, Mystical Power runs tomorrow. See how good he is. But yeah, going forward, I'd be so keen on Coldwell Potter wherever he ran next time. But Predator's Gold for me is the one to keep your eye out wherever he goes next.
We'll probably learn more, I think, with this one, won't we, as sort of time goes on. Maybe when I see you there, like you said, at the DRF, you could see the performances and sort of be able to mark them to some targets a little bit better.
You normally, after the DRF, that's when I normally put my cards down for the novice hurdles. That's my speciality. I've always said Irish novice hurdles. Jamie's going to laugh. Oh, you're not Irish, blah, 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 blah. But Irish novice hurdles, I always do well at the festival going forward with the Irish novices. But again, I'm going to agree with Mr. Kerry over there. Ballyburn just wins wherever he goes. So
what English horse are you picking for it?
I've actually got one each way for the Ballymore if he turned up, and that would be Lookaway. I'd back him each way, but apart from that, I wouldn't be backing anything else. You asked the question, so I've answered.
Let's just let Jamie take a minute to find himself a second. He's not happy with that.
Lookaway for the Paddy.
You fancied him on Greatwood Day, didn't he? What if he puts in that sort of performance at there? No good, nowhere near.
He ran okay in the Challow. He ran all right. I mean, horses that have ran in big prices placed in Ballymores before, UK horses. It wouldn't be the worst each way in the world.
We've had Kilbrick. I know he won. Kilbrickham won the Bartlett.
He won the Albert Bartlett, yeah.
Yeah, maybe not. I'll try.
Firefox Ballymore, and he'll get so much near them in the Ballymore.
Firefox won't go. Will Firefox go to Ballymore? I think he'll go to the Supreme. That's what I think.
Yeah, he'll win tomorrow.
I think he goes Bally. We'll get on to that. We'll move on to the Lawlers last. Let's have a look at Dino Blue. She won the Paddy Power Rewards Club Chase. She's a mare that I just haven't taken to, and I don't know if that's because I was on Muscada in the Grand Annual, and then I put Muscada up for the Mare's Chase as well, which is a little bit sketchy at the moment, I will say. But she did everything right, Jane, didn't she? Seems to be taking the right steps forward at least. At some point, I've probably got to come around and say, she's a pretty decent mare, this one. What did you think of her that day?
Yeah, she's a very much a decent mare now, Joe, and especially the way Gentleman to me went off. He got a lot of horses in trouble, and she loves that fast pace. You know what I mean? I'm still in the boat that 2-1 top price for a mare's chase is absolutely ludicrous. Look, she's far ahead. Like Allegory of Asti rate 151. Like the Gina Blues 159. You know what I mean? Like there's about £8 of difference. I still, you have to remember back in the Mayor's Novice Championship final at Fairy House when Brandy Love beat November by 8 lengths. Diana Blue was like 20-something lengths behind.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay at 2.5 in my book, but look, everyone is saying obviously there'd be no pace maybe in the Mares and she'd get away with it, but this mare thrives on pace. So like if you look back at the Nace run when it won there last against File Door, I know it beat File Door and it was getting away from File Door.
Yeah, that's right.
But like she doesn't look like she's she's not going away. Do you know what I mean? And I'd be worried about her over 2.5 miles. I still am. Getting on to the Allegory of Asti was very disappointing, but it's still like right-handed. She's probably better going right-handed, obviously, but like giving £8 to a horse that needs to go right-handed in Riviera to tell, and people are writing her off. It was still second to the best mare chase winner we've ever seen in Pervious last year, and people forget that. And the only other horse, obviously going through the Christmas, I was seriously impressed with Limerick Lace. I really like her.
Yeah, I get the feeling you
it-
liked her when we were at Cheltenham. We got done
yeah,
by Coco, didn't we?
so one of the wank. Oh, stop me! Or, after upsetting me, no, Joe.
I, wo- I won't bring it up
Um,
again. I won't bring it up again now.
Look, we were unlucky that day. She stayed out the 3 miles. Do you know what I mean? At Navan, but she's the horse. I think. Look, Dyna Blue's on the up. Dyna Blue's there, right?
Hmm.
Allegory Vassie's in the middle, right? But Limerick Lace, like you know what mares, they improve and improve, and this is her season kind of a thing.
Okay.
And if she's going to back it up next year, she'll be a really very good horse, but she could be gone, you wouldn't know. But like she got a mark in you now, look, her Irish mark still is 145. UK to give her 147 at Doncaster, right? Like she's surely going to go up 6-7 pounds for that performance at Doncaster. So she's in the early 150s. She doesn't have that much to find in the
She's
way
in
she's
the mix, isn't
improving.
she? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and look, she's 8-1 top right, I think, with bet 365. I think that's an each way bet to nothing because the way the race is going to cut up. And yeah, I think she's this year's horse, and I'd be backing her at Cheltenham.
It's at the point now as well of the season where I like usually anti-post. I don't like backing anything each way too far out. But at this point now, when we're sort of 9-10 weeks away, you can definitely start having a look at a few more each way
Like,
punts.
nope. I think she's 5-1 William Hill, non-runner, no bet, right? But
Okay.
I wouldn't be doing that. She's going to run in it anyway.
Yeah.
So, like,
That's
look,
it. Take the chance on the bigger price, isn't it, with this one?
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, we'll move on to the beginners chase here. Marine National, of course, bolted up in his beginners chase very easily, pinged
Yeah, we
everything.
know, Joe. Move
Okay, cool. Then we move on to the.
on.
So, what did you all think though? I know we briefly discussed it though. Loved it, lads.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
I know you're excited, but you didn't even ask me what I thought of Dino Blue. I'm a bit annoyed about that. But never mind.
What's quite funny is I was actually sat there and I was like, "Did I ask him? Did I ask him? Go on, go to us with Dino Blue, Scott." Sorry, I'm having a
No,
moment.
just a quick one. I was just going to say because I've always been against her saying that she won't stay 2.5, but that I'm starting to turn in the favour where I think she'll win the mare's chase now. I actually think she's progressing so quickly. I'm just going to quickly say I'll agree with you both on Limerick Lace and Halka de Tabet. They're definitely improvers.
Yeah.
And Allegory de Vassie at this stage is actually becoming a place lay for me. She's starting to turn into that kind of thing. But no, Dino Blue, I'm starting to change my opinion on her, and I think she'll win the mare's chase. Sorry, I've said one bit now.
Oh, that was my fault. Sorry, Scott.
That's
Sorry,
all right.
Scott. I don't think Allegory de Vassie properly stays 2.5 miles. I think that's why they were considering dropping her to the champion chase as well. I reckon she's probably an out and out 2-miler, really. Yeah, but again, as well, Marie National, we think he is the most obvious winner now. It's hard to really argue against it from what he's done. He's a proper beast, this one. We have really discussed this one, but again, Scotty, unbeatable, this lad at the moment.
Yep. I think if he jumps, he wins. And if Blood Destiny turns up, like I said, he'll probably finish second.
Yeah.
But Marine National, love him. I think you can get even money still on the exchanges. It's a gift, isn't it?
I mean, I've certainly had a few bigger prices, so I won't get involved now. But he's a 1-3 shot in my opinion. I haven't seen anything like him in years. James, what do you think of his performance? It was pretty special, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, special, and we'll see him now in a couple weeks' time, and we'll see how good he is then in the Grade 1.
Yeah. I suppose we'll find out a little bit more. I loved how Mikey was just motionless on him, though, and he just has to click his heel. He doesn't even have to touch him, and he'll just extend for you. It's ridiculous stuff. Goosebump stuff, honestly. Let's move on to Gaelic Warrior. He won the Faheen Novices Chase. A lot of drama in this race, and of course, we have briefly sort of touched on this one anyway. Jamie, what did you make of his performance? Obviously, you mentioned that you think he could actually go down and run well, possibly beat Marine National in the Arkle, which you are talking rubbish about.
They said obviously, yeah, after Fastad Vega bombing out that they might step him up and trip, but like I think that's just a bit of
camaraderie, isn't it?
Camaraderie with a sour grapes that it was beaten at Christmas. You know what I mean? But look, no, I can't see Fastad Vega moving up now. To be honest with you, so yeah, it's a very good performance. He's a really good horse, and he's proven that he's a really good horse. Look, I love people still saying, "Oh, he was beaten in the Bulls at 29."
Come on now. Come on now.
Get over it. It happens. It happens in racing. He's in the 160s horse already.
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean?
Look where Brazil is now as well in comparison. It's like, come on now.
So that's just the way it goes. And he was just like they never expected him to do jump right in the Bulls. Yeah, he's just a really good horse. I suppose the only thing is exactly, and contradicting myself now, he's never won at Cheltenham, so that's the other side of it. He was beaten by a really good winner, the Ballymore, take Imperial Pass out of the Ballymore, he'd have won the Ballymore. So do you know what I mean? It's just the way it goes. But in the Turner, exactly what Scotty said at the start of the program, like Carmi Zala is probably the only horse to beat now in the Turner. Yeah, not to beat him on that new course on it because it's so wide open. It's perfect for him, regardless of going. They just put him up the inside, creep away, and he got up away. He just that good. It's a poor renewal probably now. The Turner's with him in it, so that's not his fault.
Of
But
course.
he's really good. I really like him. I've always liked him. So
Yeah, I agree. I feel like he's coming to his own this year as well. I can see why everyone's talking about the Gold Cup and King George. I don't mind this extra 2.5 furlongs. I still think he'd go well this time next year. But Scotty, what do you think of Gaelic? Pretty special sort of horse, isn't he? Quite an exuberant bit of a head case. Easy to like. Easy to like.
Yeah, he's a lovely horse. Obviously he's got the engine, he's got the ability. 5-4 for the Turners. I wouldn't be going anywhere near it personally. I think he jumps a bit straighter. I think he's a little bit more straightforward than he has been. They've obviously found the way to ride him, and that's just go out and make it and just use his jumping as his main asset. The only slight concern, I keep thinking about it, is you had a horse quite a few years ago when I first got into racing, Arvaka Legionnaire. Absolute monster going right-handed. He looked like a champion chase winner. He looked like he could, but he couldn't jump around Cheltenham. He couldn't jump left-handed. I'm hoping Gaelic Warrior is not in the same kind of mold. I just keep thinking back to things like that. But at the same time, Captain Chris won an Arkle when he jumped into the car park going right around Cheltenham.
Yeah.
So it's not always the worst thing in the world. Horses can jump the opposite way to the way they're going, and just their raw ability gets them through. Mike Bite did the same in the RSA. He was an absolute similar profile kind of jumper to Gaelic Warrior, straightforward, riding from the front. And he may just think about it up that running, but his ability could get him home. I mean, looking through the races that Gaelic Warrior's been running, there's a horse here. I probably shouldn't even say it because of how many people watch this show and all the prices might go, and I haven't backed it yet. And if you're looking for a horse for the plate, for the best Irish trainer around Cheltenham this season is Gavin Cromwell. He's got I Know the Way You're Thinking, who's been hunting around, finishing second to Gaelic Warrior, third to Gaelic Warrior, finished behind Imagine. He's run 3 times over fences. He's only beaten just over 7 lengths. And I'd be backing him for the plate. I'd just be watching him where he goes. If he turns up to the DRF and he finishes a good 3rd or 4th somewhere, watch where he goes for his entries at Cheltenham.
Go on, James.
yeah, I'm the same more with Scotty that way, but I will make one point about it, right? You'd be fool not to back him in the 2.5 mile handicap chase in the Dublin Race Festival because it's worth 50 grand more than the plate.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's I made last year with the Goffer because I was going to back the Goffer at Cheltenham. And I did actually back him. I backed him for the Ultimate and I backed him for the plate and I backed him for the Kinmuir. I just covered it, nice small bets, and if he ran, whatever. Right? But then I didn't back him at the Dublin Racing Festival. And it really annoyed me. And you have to remember now as well that I was inside afterwards with my dad. We were going through the day of the Grand Annual. And I said, Dad, Mascada was favourite for that race to beat the Goffer over 2.5 miles. But now it's going back to 2 miles. And I said, it'll win the Grand Annual. It'll beat
Yeah.
It never did. It's small bets in it. That's the kind of races you have to watch, and exactly what Scotty's been hunting around in grade 1. Say with a horse called Percival Galwa. When that runs up to 3 miles after running grade 1s all year, you'll see a winner there. Now, he's another horse that could run in that 2.5 mile handicap chase at the Dublin Race Festival as well. So they're 2 to keep in mind on the way for JP, but one of them are definitely going to win that race at the Dublin Race Festival. I have no doubt about that because it's worth more. And just avoid a word of caution about the plate. I understand totally. I know the way you're thinking. Reminds me of the Storyteller. Would have won the pipe, never ran. I know the way you're thinking. Probably would have won that pipe this year because the season just gone. And it goes back to the plate, and so did the Storyteller. Do you know what I mean? It just reminds me of that. So there's 2 horses to keep an eye on, but totally, yeah, they're going to win huge pots for JP.
Yeah. I certainly hadn't thought of that myself. I think we need a little section called Jamie's Angles, don't we? I think that would have worked quite nicely there. Okay, cool. So in the Jack de Bromhead Christmas Hurdle, lads, we had Irish Point. Very impressive. Took a while to even come off the bridle over this sort of extended trip. Jamie, what did you think of his performance? And again, where do you think he's going to end up now as well?
He's going to end up in the entry hurling now, number one. He's not going to go to the stairs hurdle. I think it wasn't a great race, to be honest. No front runner for home by the lead. Probably exposed now home by the lead. That's probably as good as he is.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't his true running because there was no, and he doesn't like making the running. You can see that. So he'd probably better like with a lead, obviously. But look, would I be backing him now? No, for stairs hurdle. But the only crib I suppose to have it is that they went a crawl for the first mile and Irish trying to show these 2 mile speed at the end.
That's
You know what I mean? Like, and that was it. So stairs hurdle wise, I wouldn't be getting excited about any of them. I think the stairs hurdle probably main Irish up ran against Stateman. So do you know what I mean? So look, no. I think you just write that race off, and Irish Point's going to go to the entry hurdle.
Yeah,
move on.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. What do you think, Scotty? Is he end up in the World Hurdle, or is he going to go to Aintree?
Well, after that race, I'm just going to say that everyone laughed at me when I said Asturian Fallonge would finish second. Just thought I'd throw that in.
Oh, yes.
But what Jamie said, my first point was going to be that was an absolute crawl. The first mile of that race at Leopardstown. That would be the only concern. But Irish Point was going away. He was on the bridle. Couldn't have been any more impressive. First time over 3 miles. Home by Lalia, again, I said, I think there's been too many excuses for him. Front running, he was well beaten in that. His limitations have been exposed. But going forward, I would have said Irish Point, it was an absolute certainty for the Aintree hurdle. But now you've got a certain horse called Bob Ollinger, who's now been thrown into the mix. I'm only saying that because Robco have now got 3 horses who potentially could be 2.5, 3 mile winners, and that's obviously Tiapu, Bob Ollinger, and Irish Point. Irish Point, if he was after that race and Bob Ollinger had flopped at Cheltenham in the rail keel, I would have said Aintree. I'd be now sending Bob Ollinger to the Aintree hurdle. He'd have a massive chance in that. He looks to have got his back to almost near his best. I thought he looked as good since his Ballymore win in that race the other day. I know Marie's Rock and Strong leader, Brewing Up a Storm aren't horses they were or as good as everybody thinks they could be, but I'd be sending Bob to Aintree, and I'd be throwing Irish Point in the stairs hurdle, have 2 cracks at it. You'd have the first and second favourite along with Telem in the mix. I think it's between those 3, and I would be all over Irish Point for the stairs. I backed him straight after the race. I took a shorter price than I tipped him up at the start of the season. I just wanted to get him in the book, and I think he's a better horse than Tiapu. Tiapu had his chance last year, didn't win it. Everybody's raving about him. Impere Pass, okay, he beat him in the Hatton's Grace. Impere Pass, again, I think he's been proven that he's not as good as everybody thinks he is. I think State Man's had his number, Tiapu's had his number. I think Irish Point would beat Tiapu hands down, and I think he has to go to the stairs hurdle now.
Well, 2 very contrasting views. Again, I'm in the middle, to be honest. I could see either happening, so I'm not really going to give too much of a standpoint on it. Ultimately, I think he'll go to the Aintree hurdle. But again, this is Gordon Elliott. He obviously loves Cheltenham winners. I just wouldn't be surprised to see him send 2 to Aintree. He's actually got 4 weeks in between Cheltenham and Aintree this year as well. So it might about just be enough time to perhaps give them a break, get them back into training and ready for Cheltenham. So yeah, time will tell with this one. But I guess if you fancy a chance as anti-post survivor, and now might be the time to get involved. And then what was probably the there's no doubt this was the performance of the entire Christmas period. Galopin de Champs winning the Savills Chase. Scotty, I'm going to stay with you. This was just monstrous, wasn't it? You don't see this every day.
Yeah, in these horses that have slightly, you think you're disappointed with them a couple of times. It was all over after 2 fences. He just jumped way better. He just looked like the Galopin that we know, the Galopin we love. I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. I'm so glad Fast or Slow didn't run, because I would have ended up backing him. I backed Galopin des Champs. Wow, what can I say? He's just an absolute certainty for the Gold Cup after that. Whether we'll see him in the Irish Gold Cup, don't know. He probably will run, I'd say.
Yeah,
and when he wins that, he'll probably go 4 to 7 fab for the Gold Cup. I think those that are on tickets at any price now before he ran and took. I think he could have got 3 to 1 before he ran the other day. it was ridiculous. But yeah, absolutely blown away. And the Galloping the Chomps we know is back. He is
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. That 3-1's huge, man, isn't it? I really wish I got a piece of that. What I will say is this is a prime example for those that were writing off Galloping the Champ because he placed in a 2 mile 3 race. Shame on you. And I hope you realise this for next season as well, that these are horses that are seasonal. They take time to get fit as well. For him to obviously still stay on and finish where he did in that John Durkan, I was mightily impressed. I'm really disappointed to see so many people say he's a gone horse just after the one. Were really, really bad. I think he's a shoe in now. James, what do you think to Galloping Deschamps? Obviously hard not to be impressed. And can anything touch him in the Gold Cup, or is it again pay up now? You know?
Yeah, I think bookies will be paying out soon, like that, will they? In a couple of months. No, it was unbelievable. Um, yeah, Shark made a good point, like, about Hewitt. Like, the only way we're going to run in the Gold Cup if it's good ground. And I suppose
Yeah,
that is the only way you're going to get him beat now, if it's actually a rattling good ground Gold Cup, and it probably would suit faster stuff better than Gallopin de Champ. But like, he probably still win a good ground. It would make a difference, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's seriously good, and hopefully he'll win multiple Gold Cups. He's still only about an 8-year old now.
yeah,
Yeah, 8-year old. He's still win another 2 Gold Cups, in my opinion. There's nothing there, like. But look, exactly what Scott said. It's great that Fast or Slow didn't run, and you still have
yeah,
the nagging doubt about him beating him twice. But the thing about beating him twice is that it was after a Gold Cup, and it was Gallopin's first run of the season, and people forget about that.
exactly.
So,
Yeah,
no, it was a serious performance. It's the best performance I've seen in a long, long time. It's probably the best performance in the Cotter's Town one of these King George's, probably. So
so impressive.
that,
Just
that's in good company, like, you know what I mean. I've always liked him. Since the day jumped up inside in the house during COVID when you couldn't be going up the straight in a Martin Pipe with Hanger Dan and Galopin des Champs. That was a good day. With nobody around us, 3 or 4 of us watching it during COVID. But yeah, he's a really good artist, and he'll win the Gold Cup. Yeah,
yeah, he should be 1-2, 1-3
I
now.
won though. By the way, they never lost the faith.
Yeah, well, that's it exactly. You haven't, have you? And but it's you've done the right thing, OJ, because it's a proper reading of the horse, isn't it? Like you said, Punchestown was the end of a long season, and on his first start this year, it was getting ready, getting back on track. He wasn't beaten far over 2 mile 3. Really got to look into the races and read them, haven't they? People a little bit deeper. He should be a 1-2 shot, 1-3 shot now, because anything that's going to beat him at Cheltenham is going to have to put in a personal best by a long shot. So, you know, he should be really, really tough to beat now at this stage. And like you boys, I hope he goes on to win again. We move on. We've got 2 to go. This was a really impressive one for me. In the Neville's Hotel Novice Chase, Grange Clare West finally put his best foot forward. I think this is a proper stay and chase of this one, lads. What about you, Jamie?
Yeah, great performance. He backed up what he did in Nace and beating Corbett's Cross over a trip shorter. Corbett's Cross, I don't know what to make of him. I think he's a 2.5 miler. I think it's coming to the fact that he doesn't really see out 3 miles, Shaw, and I don't care what anyone says. Like, I know I backed him last year in the Oliver Bartlett, as I said before. He was beaten. And regardless if he ran out or not, he was not going to beat Stay Away Faye in that race. No, no way in the world. I think they'll drop him back and trip to the Turners, to be honest with you. There's nowhere else really for him. I don't jump quick enough either. I think eventually you might see him back over hurdles down the line.
Do you really?
Uh,
Yeah.
I really do. I just don't think he jumps quick enough. Because there is a turn of foot there. Do you know what I mean? There is a turn of foot there,
Yeah.
but the turn of foot there came the last day in the beginner's chase over 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
Wanty's Star and Nick Rocket have pranked the form of that race. Do you know what I mean? So, like, Nick Rocket to me is a National Chase horse. Monty Star is a Brown Advisory horse. Do you know what I mean? So he's in the mix, but he's not good enough to win a Browns, in my opinion. That's the way Grange Clare West won there. But my nagging doubt Grange Clare West is he need a bog, and he's a big, big, big
Yeah.
horse. I seen him in the Nace this time last year. I was up for the Lauders, and he bombed out. He was coughing post race, but he's a big, big horse, and will he
Yeah.
go on good ground? Do you know what I mean? Is that it? But they seem to think he will.
Yeah. Sure.
After
Sure.
that performance, he's a shoe in if he can go and go ground in the Browns.
Yeah.
Absolute shoe. That was
Yeah.
an unbelievable performance. There's always that nagging doubt, I suppose, with him. Will he back it up? He has backed it up. Will he back it up again? And that's the only crib I haven't, but he's the best 3 miles chase, not a chase I've seen so far.
Gold Cup type for next year, Jane?
100%.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's how I see it.
Willie has a better one than that.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
fact.
Do you think Factor File in the Browns then? Do you think he'll, yeah?
Yeah.
Both starting to get big reputations. Considering he was beaten by American Mike when we were at Cheltenham,
Yeah.
obviously the penultimate start. You
And
know,
hard to see what he did at the 2.5 mile beginner chase. Oh, you don't know where
exactly.
he's going either. He's going Turners or the Brown Advisory, one or
It
the
could
other.
be.
But I'd be backing him regardless of Gaelic Warrior in the race and regardless of Grange Square West in the race. I'm going to be backing Factor Fight in both races.
Yeah, okay. It could be deeper races than we think, Some of these horses, like you start thinking, you got your American Mikes, your Blood Destinies. They do all start creeping up, don't they? Scotty, what did you think of the performance? I was really impressed with this one beating Corbett's Cross.
Yeah, I was, visually, he just looked like he had so much left. What are you laughing at? Corbett's Cross. I'm with Jay, actually. Yeah, I think Corbett's Cross needs a step back and trip. I don't think he fully sees at the 3 miles either. I was convinced he was going to reverse the form, actually, with Grange Clare West. It's a classic case of they keep beating each other. I mean, Grange Clare West has beat Corbett's Cross twice now. Flooring Porter's just an absolute nut job. Talk about him going back over hurdles. He's probably back over hurdles for the stayers, I'd imagine now. I'm still not convinced Grange Clare West is quick enough to win a Browns. I think he's more of a staying type on heavy ground. He just seems to be kind of a galloper. I don't think there's that turn of foot there. But then looking through the race from an anti-post perspective, what's going to be quick enough to go past any of them? Stay away phase, obviously, an out and out plodder, has a bit of speed. He showed it at Exeter.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got a bit of speed still. Stay away phase.
Yeah,
and that might be the angle, but
that could be the angle. But reading, I mean, I'm just going to actually talk about one other horse in the race quickly before we look at the Browns, and that's Favre de Champ. He was up there for quite some time in that race, and he showed that he can jump. But I just think when they went that bit quicker, he struggled. I still think he's going to be a good thing for the national hunt chase, so I wouldn't lose faith in him. But as far as Grange Clare West goes, he's 7-2 for the Browns. I still think the market, if he was really that good and they were that convinced, would they have maybe cut him into maybe even a bit shorter for that race? I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm with Jamie, actually. I think Factor File is probably the one that I'd want to be on for the Browns. But he could even step back again to 2.5 miles. So it's just going to be interesting again to see how they all pan out. But yeah, Grange Clare West, I definitely have massive respect for him. But again, like Jamie said, the form of that race with Corbett's Cross, Nick Rocket, and the horse that I really like is Monty Star. I'd be taking 20s ahead of Grange Clare West at 7-2 from an each way angle for the Browns. But yeah, massive respect for Grange Clare West. But is he going to be quite good enough to win a Browns? I'd be disappointed if he won it. Put it that way.
yeah, fair enough. That's fair enough, Scotty. I'm like you as well. I like Monty's Stars. I think he's going to be a really nice horse going forward as well. Yeah, I think the 3 mile division's definitely one we haven't quite sussed out yet. James, do you think Factor File's going to the Browns, by the way, over the National Hunt Chase this season? Or you're not sure?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I suppose we'll see him probably in the 2.5, 2 mile 5 race at the Dublin Race Festival, Mighty Potter and Galopin de Champ one last 2 years.
And then make their mind up from there.
50-50 call, especially with Mark Walsh said when he got off the horse that he was a bit keen and he could be one for the Turners for this year and then step him up the following year. So look, it's all up in the air, but
yeah,
I think he's a really, really good horse back to file, yeah.
Excellent. Look forward to seeing how this one pans out. And we have one race left to go. And I'll stay with you then, Jamie. We've got the Matson Hurdle. State Man, very, very impressive. Very unfortunate to live in a time where Constitution Hill is around, but at least he is the one main true contender to Constitution Hill's chances this season. What did you think of him in the Matson? I thought he was quite impressive, just does what State Man does.
Yeah, exactly what you're saying, Joe. What Stateman does. A crib again that Daryl Jacob didn't make any use of him. He just sit in behind of Imperial Pass. Like he's on the stair. So do you think you should just go out in front and see if Stateman can catch me? He was a little bit keen in the race as well again with Imperial Pass, but he wasn't going at full tilt. And that was to show that he has a bit of speed, but he did keep him up to the last and looked like the last was all to pay for, but you kind of knew Statement was going to win anyway. But yeah, State man, just as I said, lucky Constitution is here, will win a champion hurdle. Imperial Pass is definitely now, in my opinion, going to the Stairs hurdle. And to be honest with you, if you're looking at Imperial Pass and the way he ran up the hill in the Ballymore, that you have to give him a chance in the Stairs hurdle. Like you take out the barrier there at the top of when they finish in the old track at the Cheltenham Festival. You take out the barrier up the top there where you finished. He go past that car park and the thing and to put him up properly. So he definitely a player in the Stairs hurdle because I think along with Talim and technically Tupu, they're the only 160 plus horses in the race. So you have to have him a chance. And he what 8-9 to 1 each way for a Stairs hurdle. He has to be in the conversation.
Yeah,
Because they thought he was good enough to give Constitution Hill a run. Now, I'm know for the fact, like we all know the fact, it's an afterthought with the Willie Mullins camp, but I'm presuming the Bromleys want a runner in the Stairs hurdle. They have plenty of runners in France. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, he's a player in the Stairs hurdle. There's no question about that, and he'll be getting some of my cash in it.
yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, again, he's one of those ones again, like being smart as like with experience, isn't it? You can read between the lines. He's not a champion hurdle horse. We've seen what happened against State Man, but we also see that he does still travel. Okay, he's not finishing out his races, but like you said, so it's hard to see who's going to get him off the bridle first, wouldn't it? As well, I guess in something like the Stairs.
Yeah, look, even if he's stuffed in the Stairs hurdle, Jin, and it didn't matter. Do you know what I mean? He's still a serious chaser for next season.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to sort of suggest. Probably a 2.5 miler again, maybe even a little.
Yeah, oh,
bit
he's definitely
further.
turned his horse following year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. And Scotty, what did you think of State Man?
Yeah, really impressed. I think he showed something that he's just probably one of the most straightforward horses to ride,
Yeah.
isn't he? He can be ridden slightly off the pace. He can make it from the front. There's not a lot else I can add really, apart from he's won 7 Grade 1s now, I think it is. It's just like we've said already, just unlucky. He's at the same time as the greatest 2-mile hurdler there will probably ever be in my lifetime. But yeah, he's going to finish second in the champion hurdle. They've got no other way to go. They have to put him there. Just touching what Jamie said, like on Impere Pass, it is going to be an afterthought, isn't it? You said the same, going for the Stairs hurdle. But I mean, Simon and Isaac, the owners have had horses who have been not as good as Impere Pass that have run well in that kind of race before, the likes of Holstone. Lammy Surge was a decent 3-mile staying hurdler for them. I think he'd have a chance, an each way chance in the Stairs hurdle. But like Jay just said, if he goes and blows up and does nothing, it doesn't matter. He's going to be good over fences next year, isn't he? But no, State Man's fantastic. And let's just hope that it's... I'd like to see him ridden different in the champion hurdle. I'd like to see him go absolutely bomb it out in front, just to real test Constitution Hill and just see what he's really, really made of. And hopefully it will make Constitution Hill win by even further. He probably will. He'll probably win like a John Bond-esque kind of thing when Dysart Dynamo went off in the Supreme. And so it's probably not the wisest move, but I think that's the only chance they've got.
I was going to say, well, they've got to try something, haven't they? They can't sort of just give him the winner. It's pointless then, isn't it? They might as well just
Exactly, pointless.
chasing, like, but all right, cool. So that's the Christmas preview done and dusted. We're just going to run around because we haven't put up an anti-post selection for a little while. Do you both have one for this week? Yeah. All right, Jamie, let's go with you first then. What have you got for us?
This number 4, isn't it? I have
This
Marsborough, Allegory de Bassi, and Crambo. Yeah.
I'll put them up on the screen next time. So we've got them.
Fourth one, I'm going to go with Joe. A horse that hasn't been seen in a while. Ran at Limerick. Recorded an RPR 149. It's for the Albert Bartlett. I think it's still top price 14s. I think 12s everywhere really. And it's Willie Mullins' horse, high class hero for the Albert Bartlett. The only reason I'm putting up this horse, I've always fancied this horse for it. It beat a horse called Peter Fahey's, who I think is a right chance in the county hurdle, and it's a horse called the Big Diane. Beat it by 7 lengths. Big Diane was only beaten by a length to Captain Teague in that Grade 2 at the November meeting. Captain Teague was second in a missile. Captain Teague now is after going on and winning a Grade 1. Shallow. Slow ground, I understand that. Grinded it out, fair play to him. Is the form good? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Johnny Hu in 4th is obviously going to the Albert Bartlett, but I just don't think Johnny Hu's good enough, in my opinion. But with the collateral form and the figures and the experience that high class hero has shown through the summer, and then gone on, and they've keeping him now for it. I like that. And yeah, he's definitely my tip at the moment for the Albert Bartlett. So it's high class hero for me.
High class hero 14-1, Jamie, as well. Lovely price on him. Scotty, who have you got for us this week?
Yeah, that's a horse I spoke about earlier in the show that ran in the Tolworth at Aintree. I'm going to put up Farron Glory for the Supreme Novices each way. I think he's a general 12-1s. Best price 16s, I bet 365. Yeah, everything I touched on. The Royal Bond form's working out pretty decent with King of Kingsfield beating Mirazar West. Got no concern about him going left-handed. He would have bolted up at Aintree, and I think he's going to be a big player in the Supreme. So yeah, like I said, pretty much all I had to say earlier on in the show. But yeah, he'd be my each way selection at 16s for the Supreme.
Yeah, lovely. Two good shouts there. Well, I'm in the double figure camp as well this week, lads. I'm going to put up Cargeese in the Triumph Hurdle. She finished second. She split Carla Conti and Nürburgring at Leopardstown. She was the last horse off the bridle as well. She travelled best the whole way. She was last off the bridle, and she only went down by 3/4 of a length to Carla Conti. Now, all of the horses in and around her that day have had previous experience, more than 2 runs as well. So she came there on debut, travelled very, very well the whole way round. Seemed to find it easy going left-handed as well, which of course will suit her at Cheltenham. And I think she's going to be a big, big improver next time out. If she settles, I think you could put 10 lengths on top of that performance, and you will need to mind. I think at 14-1, she's probably a pretty decent bet at the same time. One word of warning with Cargeese at the same in the same breath is that if she doesn't go and win next time out, she's probably going to end up in the Boodles because she's got quite a low RPR at this point. But I do think she's going to win really nicely next time out, and that 14-1 I think is going to absolutely evaporate. So Cargeese at 14-1 for me, Farron Glory at 16s each way for Scotty, and High Class Hero for Jamie at 14-1 in the Albert Bartlett, and that's a wrap, lads. We'll have to look at getting obviously the next show in. We're sort of looking towards Trials Day now. So we'll get the next episode out possibly next week, maybe the week after, looking at the times depending on what racing's gone on. We'll see how we go for there. Jamie, Scotty, what are the plans then for this weekend?
Maybe next tomorrow, we'll say.
Maybe next tomorrow. I love that. And if anyone there on course as well, do go over and say hello to Jamie. Very approachable.
Yeah.
And he stands out a mile away being 7 foot tall as well.
I will not. Yeah.
And Scotty, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm just going to watch the football Sunderland Newcastle in about an hour's time, and then probably just head out and practice some darts, play some pool, and watch the Lawlers in Nace tomorrow. My mate Atlantique for the Albert Bartlett. I'm hoping he runs well.
Lovely. All right, lads. Well, look, thanks again for coming on. I really do appreciate it, of course. And to anyone that's tuned in, please do click the like and subscribe button. It helps me out a great deal. And at the same time, please do go over and follow Scotty and Jamie on Twitter as well. Always putting up great bits. Really 2 guys in the know. And obviously, I appreciate their time. So please do go and follow the lads before you take a look at my own stuff as well. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And we'll be back real soon with another episode. Bye for now.